Hello everyone, and welcome to our Week 6 team builder for the CGC Draft League. So our Week 6 opponent is going to be the Draft League organizer himself, Richi, who is the coach of the Colorado Cramorant. So this week is going to be a tough one. I know I say that every week, but seriously, like, Richi's team is scary. There's so many good mons on his team. He crafted a very well-balanced team overall that is just going to make it a tough nut to crack, to be honest. We definitely have quite a friendly rivalry overall regarding competitive VGC and such, so yeah, this should be a great match. I'm really looking forward to it. It's definitely going to be the most trouble in terms of prep though. Like, I don't think I've had as much trouble creating up a team that I feel like is going to be able to break his own, unlike this week's. This is going to be a tough one, so yeah, just in case anyone is a little confused on when I say Week 6, by the way, our Week 5 matchup against Paint is going to be happening a little later on in the season. It's just taking a little bit longer to get that match ready to go and such, so rather than, you know, delay the entire weeks as a whole, we'll get back to that match later on. So even though this is technically our 5th week of battling, we'll call it Week 6 just, you know, to keep with the schedule and such. So yeah, let's quickly go over Richi's team, and then I'll be going over what I've decided to bring against Richi this week. So his first mon was Latios. Latios is an incredibly good mon. It's such a versatile mon in Draft League, and I know Richi already had his eyes on this mon way before the Draft League even began, so it did not surprise me that he picked it up when it was still available as his first pick when it came around to him. And he was also able to get Togekiss, which is just a nasty duo overall. Latios and Togekiss, they have some great defensive synergy, and it's just going to make beating the Latios a lot more difficult for my team, because I may have my own Latias, which is very cool. We've got their own Eongeos and such, but the fact he has his own Togekiss means I can't just, you know, get the speed control and hit it with a dragon move and be done with it. I have to worry about the redirection of Follow Me and such, and it's just going to be a lot more difficult to take down because of that. So Togekiss as a mon itself is just such an insanely good support mon in Draft League. The fact he was able to get both is just terrifying, to be honest. Yeah, so the fact that you have such a good redirection mon as well opens up Richi's team quite well to so many other options overall. Like the Blastoise that can have Shell Smash. This was a late pick, and honestly it was genius. I remember being so impressed with the Blastoise pickup as a mon, because once again, like, there was with Richi's team that honestly there's so many mons that can do so many different things, or if not different things, they can do their own things very well, and it's still got plenty of different moves they can use. Blastoise is definitely one of those, as is Togekiss and Latios. All three of those are very, very scary. So the thing is with the Shell Smash Blastoise is as a threat, because of the Togekiss, is that he doesn't even have to bring that. I don't think he's actually brought Shell Smash at all yet. He's generally been going for a more defensive Blastoise each week, with things like Scald, Yawn, potentially Fake Out, that kind of thing. But I still have to worry about the Shell Smash, so yeah, it definitely affects the team prep quite heavily and such. That's the thing, is that Richi's team has got so many different things going on, so many different strats that I have to worry about, that I think that's what's been causing the main headaches regarding the team building process. So yeah, he did a very good job with this team and drafting and all that. Magnezone was his third pick though. Very, very good fantasy core, you could say, in Dragon Fairy still at the top. Magnezone is one of those mons that hits like a truck, and even though it has, you know, an obvious counter with that ground weakness and such, if you don't have an easy access to that on the team, it can actually be quite difficult to take down. I find that my draft generally struggles to hit steel types that hard often, which is going to make Magnezone quite a pain, I feel, if he does bring it. Because while I have maybe options like damage mitigation in Snarl and Umbreon and Raikou and that kind of stuff, it's still a tough mon to just hit really hard, I feel. Especially again with the defensive tools and, you know, resources that Richi has as well. So yeah, gonna be a tough mon to take down. At least the movesets Magnezone can have are a bit more on the limited side. Like, we pretty much expect just electric and steel coverage, and while it does have other cool things, like, you know, it could possibly be a tri-attack if it wants to try and hit something like Raikou for a non-resisted attack, you know, like that. And there's a few other things it can do, like reflect and light screen, but regardless, at least with Magnezone I kind of know what to expect. That's one good thing about that mon. Now, of course, the first 4 mons on his team are primarily special attackers and such, which is why Snom will seem pretty good, right? Well, unfortunately, we've got a Gallade that we may have to worry about, which is almost definitely going to be running Justified if it comes this week. So Gallade is definitely one that I had my eyes on in the C tiers, I think it was. And Richi got it, like, I think it was like the second pick of C tier. He got this one really soon, so immediately that was down the drain in terms of an idea. I had to think about other stuff. So I think that's kind of why I came to Mr. Mime in the draft, actually, because I wanted that kind of utility psychic type almost. And when Gallade went, I thought that Mr. Mime might be a good backup option. And I've been very impressed with Mr. Mime all season, so no regrets. I'm very happy with how it turned out in the end. But Gallade definitely has some different tools and such. It's got very high attack and decent special defense as well, so it can do a lot of different things. The middling speed makes it also quite flexible regarding speed tiers and such, so it's really hard to predict what he's going to do with Gallade, whether it's going to be like a faster kind of set or maybe a Trick Room set, which you know, our team is pretty fast overall, so if he does go for a Trick Room strat, then I definitely need to have good options against it, because that could be a problem. Houndoom was a very good pickup for Richi. Again, 2 typings that he didn't have. In fact, I think he's got entirely unique typings, isn't he? Got double fighting in Gallade and Toxicroak, but other than that, they're all pretty unique typings, so he's got plenty of good options as well. And Houndoom is definitely a mon I can see coming against me. It's hard to really say because there are plenty of mons that are good against me, I feel. We have quite a good few fire weaknesses. The Houndoom stock typing should make it pretty good into our own Latias. You know, I also wouldn't be surprised to not see it come as well, because it is quite frail and goes down pretty fast. Especially with our own Regigigas, he might be scared of Regigigas, and the fact that Houndoom does, you know, outspeed it. Naturally, it means it might be harder to justify on his own team, of course. But the main problem with Houndoom is the fact that it has access to our nerves. That's just another of the things you have to consider when team building against Richi, is that if a nerve Houndoom happens to be on the field, it could ruin your strats with berries, which we actually are bringing a few of this week, which is difficult to, you know, really, what's the phrase, just, you know, just try and rely on that strat, but it's just, it's scary when the Houndoom may be on the team. I'm really hoping to not see Houndoom, to be honest, because that would definitely be a lot more stressful regarding the berries I've got on my own team this week. So yeah, Rhydon is probably the most difficult regarding mons though. Like, honestly, I'm really scared of Rhydon because of the Lightning Rods. Lightning Rods allows it to take on Raikou really nicely. So even though Raikou does have access to Scald, which we are bringing this week, as you will see, the fact Richi once again has Togekiss allows for a nasty duo where it can kind of stop the Raikou from doing what it wants, because, you know, it can redirect the Scald and just hit it with an EQ, which would be a big problem. Or if we want to try and Thunderbolt the Togekiss, then Rhydon can come in and now I can't hit the Kiss, you know, so it's difficult, very, very difficult, and as I say every week, I do find that ground types are pretty difficult for our team. We have quite a few ground weaknesses and such. So yeah, Rhydon is definitely a very scary mon. It's also very scary in Trick Room as well, so if a Trick Room strat is brought out, I need to be very, very careful of that. Okay, next last few mons, we've got Swallow. Swallow is the fastest mon on this team. It actually outspeeds all of our mons as well. Our fastest mon is Sceptile, so the fact that Swallow has the jump on that is pretty difficult. So definitely one that can come, but of course the best Swallow set tends to be like a Guts Flame Orb set, which might be something Richi may want to reconsider this week because of the neutralizing gas potential on our own Weezing. So yeah, if he does bring it, I wouldn't be surprised that he'd see like perhaps a band set, or at least not holding a Flame Orb, you know? I expect you're not going to go with a Guts Flame Orb that hard when there's neutralizing gas to potentially worry about, so yeah, definitely one that could come, as could Toxicroak. Toxicroak is pretty good into Mr. Mime if it's able to outspeed it, gets the right speed control and such. It also runs Focus Sash a lot of the time, so it can probably take any attack as well. It also gets lots of good utility, things like Fake Out, Feint, you know, like it's Dry Skin as well, like it means it has nice immunity as well, so yeah, it's definitely a mon that's kind of a little more out there on his team, but it definitely has some interesting tools against my team that perhaps it do better than Gallade, mainly against the Mr. Mime. So yeah, I do highly expect Gallade over Toxicroak, but if Toxicroak does come, that could be a problem, because the fact that Toxicroak is his only Fake Out mon, I'm kind of reliant on a certain strat this week where Fake Out and Priority in general doesn't screw it over, as you'll soon see. So yeah, I'm hoping to not see Toxicroak, to be honest. I've prepped more for the Gallade if any fighting type comes. And Meganium is surprisingly difficult and bulky. Like, our Raikou doesn't really touch it that hard. And ones like Latias, you know, like it's a mon that's actually quite bulky, and if it sets up like Leech Seeds and such, it can still mons out quite effectively, to be honest. It's definitely a bit more on the passive side, but like, if Richi sees that Meganium is good against some of the higher tiers, like, I can definitely see this thing coming, because it's hard to take this thing out, to be honest. Yeah, so that's Richi's team. Very balanced, very scary overall. Plenty of good options and things I have to worry about. So let's quickly go over our own and show you what we've came up with. So Raikou this week, we've got a... Oh, actually, I think... yes, of course. I think they're all level 100 because I was just checking in-game stats and all that. So let's make sure we change it back for a second. You get a little quick spoilers on all of the sets here, so... Yeah, ooh, some spicy ones on the end here. You see those berries? Yes, you do. Anyway, so we have Raikou. So this mon is able to outspeed Latios with its speed investment. We've got Thunderbolt, Scald, Snow, and Protect. So sometimes I justify not having Protect on Raikou, but I think this week is one I do definitely need it. If it gets, like, if we potentially have to play in Trick Room, it'd be a nice option. And we have quite a lot of spread attacks, as you'll see this week as well. So being able to protect and make sure we're not getting hit by our own allies is quite important as well. The coverage, like I say, Snow is just so good into many of Richi's special attackers, particularly good into Latios. Like, that's going to be how we get a lot of damage control on that thing. Scald is going to be essential for Rhydon, as is Thunderbolt for monsters like Togekiss. So yeah, pretty standard set, nothing crazy going on here. The Citrus Berry, we didn't really know what to give it, but I think Raikou's going to be a very important piece this week. So we decided that just allowing it to survive a bit longer with a Citrus Berry should help it out a lot. I didn't really feel like we needed any item to, you know, boost damage or anything, so just having it on the field a bit longer through recovery of a Citrus Berry should be quite helpful. Let's move on to Latios. So we're running a Life Orb set this week with Psychic, Ice Beam, Surf, and Protect. So we're actually running a Modest Nature because Modest max speed happens to outspeed Houndoom by 1 point, which is great. And I'm not really trying to outspeed his own Latios because I've decided, you know, just with the synergy and mons on his team, I don't think trying to beat his Latios with my Latias is a good idea. Yeah, sorry everyone. Even though the idea of, you know, an Eon face-off sounds fun, I don't think it's really going to be what I'm going for this week. If I can get the right speed control, then Latias can definitely do work still, but it's not the initial strat I'll probably be going for, so... Psychic is just probably the most spammable option out of these stabs, and I decided I wanted Ice Beam and Surf, because Surf B is very important if we need to beat the Rhydon. Say Togekiss is on the field, we need to be able to hit the Rhydon super effectively. And I believe it doesn't matter how especially defensive Rhydon is, it could be like careful, max HP, max special defense. The Surf with this special attack investment and Life Orb should one-shot it, regardless of a Togekiss on the field. So yeah, Ice Beam is also quite good against Richi's team, just because he has a lot of ice weaknesses in general. You've got Latios, Togekiss, Meganium. There's also there's one more, what is there, Swallow? Yes, I'm looking now. Any other monsters? Oh yeah, Rhydon as well. So it's actually, yeah, there's five ice weaknesses, so, you know, half of his team are weak to ice, which is why I thought it'd be a good coverage option to have overall. Yeah, so I've definitely focused on more offensive calcs this week, so, you know, we've got enough speed for that Houndoom, as I said, and then this is what I believe should be enough special attack to do the damage I want to targets and such. I believe that a bulky Latios should also go down to a Snarl plus Ice Beam, and I think our Latios has like a 25% chance to it's like, yeah, a 1 in 4 chance to go down to a Soldew Draco Meteor if it's timid, I believe, after a Snarl when it's at -1. So a small chance the Latios may be able to survive that situation, but again, it's not something I'm relying on. So you know, I thought that was a fun little calc that I happened to find when I was doing stuff and like that. So, so we've got Weezing here. Weezing is probably the one I was the least sure of this week. I definitely tested Umbreon in that slot as well. In fact, Umbreon was quite cool. I was actually, I shouldn't really spoil ideas on what I was going with Umbreon, just in case I decide to bring it in a potential rematch. But Yeah, we decided to go on Weezing in the end just because having a presence in neutralizing gas is very important against Richi's team. Like I've said, there's a lot of abilities that I'm very concerned about, whether that be a nerve, whether that be lightning rod. You know, there's quite a few abilities that could shut down certain strats that I'm going with, so that I think even if I don't bring Weezing, it's important to have on the team because then Richi at least has to consider it in the back, or as a sudden switch in, suddenly abilities, you know, all go off and such. So, you know, it makes a mon like Rhydon with its Lightning Rod a lot less reliable to protect the Togekiss or something if I have it as a team presence. It's running quite fast this week. The reason it's going quite fast is that I'm trying to outspeed a Latios at -1. Why would a Latios be at -1 speed? Well, because of Mr. Mime here. Mr. Mime is definitely a case of just like, the set works, you know, we don't, even though it's something we brought you know, a lot most recent week in week 4, so maybe a more predictable set, I think it's still the set that works. Like, it's just such a solid set overall. We've got enough speed to jump the Swellow. I think it's actually the exact same speed as our week 4 match, just because, you know, Weavile and Sceptile both have the oh, sorry, I said Sceptile, didn't I? Weavile and Swellow, they both have the same base speeds, so that'll be enough to outspeed those. And Icy Wind and Dazzgleam in the prep was pretty much the most spammable options. I definitely considered Energy Ball over Psychic on Mr. Mime just because of the Rhydon and the Blastoise. I decided that if you're having to lock yourself into an attack, then Psychic's probably more spammable overall, even if there are things like Houndoom to be worried about. I still don't think I'll probably be clicking Psychic, but it's there, you know, in case we need to hit the Toxicroak as well. So yeah, hopefully Mr. Mime will put in a lot of work, just like last week. I'm very proud of Mr. Mime this season so far. So yeah, looking to get put in some more work with it this week. It's got a kind of mix of HP and special attack. I always like to put some bulk on Mr. Mime because otherwise, especially on the physical side, it's just utter paper. It will just go down so quickly. So yeah, I can't remember specific calcs regarding the damage and such, but Dazzgleam and Icy Wind should be like, you know, 2 free-shotting set of mons, and it should be comboing nicely with other calcs I have alongside the team. So yeah, Mr. Mime and Raikou is probably what I'm going to actually lead in Game 1. It'd be very unlikely that I don't do that, just because I think they offer me a lot of like, you know, speed control, damage control as well, and Snarl. Like, it's just a good kind of option to scout the Richi's team a little bit. So yeah, and if I do want to go Mr. Mime Weezing, the main reason for that will possibly be if Latios is running like a Tailwind set. Tailwind will definitely be difficult for us to face, but I think we have enough defensive options to hopefully deal with it if need be. So yeah, the Icy Wind though is, if I do think that Tailwind is just such a problem, then what we can do is leave Mr. Mime Weezing and go for an Icy Wind and Taunt. That's why our Weezing is actually so fast this week, because doing that should allow us to stop the Tailwind from the Latios. The problem with bringing Weezing though is the fact that it's honestly doesn't have a great matchup into Richi's team, in my opinion. The fact he's got many good special attackers make Weezing's less bulky side on the special side a little bit more easy to break it. Which is why we're running the Focus Sash. I think it's just nice to have that bit of security and force at least 2 attacks into Weezing to take it out as well. Sludge Bomb's good into Togekiss, decent damage to Latios, Blastoise, the Meganium will be quite nice into, and Flamethrower is mainly for the Magnezone if we need to hit that for a super effective damage. Like I say, we haven't got that many things to hit Magnezone super effectively, so it's good to fit them in where I can. So yeah, that is Weezing, and we got Mr. Mime as well. I never explained the Focus Blast. That's, again, if we need to hit Magnezone as a last-ditch effort, then that is an option. I found in prep that situation never occurred, but who knows, it might happen in the actual game. So yeah, it's important that we have it just in case we need to get into that situation, even if it is usually Focus Miss and unreliable. But hey, it'll be fun to watch if that happens, right? Right, Sceptile. This is where it gets a little bit spicy. So Sceptile is holding a Landsat Berry this week, so anyone's not aware on what a Landsat Berry does, might as well go on the description here. It basically gains the Focus Energy effect. So what this does is it increases its crit ratio by 2 stages. So combined with the Endure that we're running this week, that means if Sceptile gets to 25% health or less, then that Landsat Berry activates, and then we've basically got guaranteed guaranteed crits with Leaf Blade, which is very cool. And I believe 50% chance on the Rock Slide, which is just causing more RNG chaos, where it be crits or flinches with that move. And Endeavour is the cooler move on Sceptile. I think I said in the Draft League first initial analysis, like, I wanted to keep some, tricks up my sleeve with Sceptile, and this is definitely one of them. The Endeavour is a fun strat that I've been really hoping to use at one point, and I believe this is the week to do it. So, even though Lancet Berry is more helping our offense, trying to get crits and that kind of thing, Endeavour will be a way to completely break a Mon if I need to bring it to low HP. And combined with Mons like Latias and Raikou that are quite fast, I might be able to just get rid of a Mon immediately if I get myself in the right position, being able to Endeavour and just, snarl or something, they just take it out immediately, which would be really, really cool. And the Unburden, of course, is to combine us with the Lancet Berry so that we can get the speed boost if we need to. Of course, that Houndoom is a concern regarding our nerve and such, but yeah, hopefully it still works out. At the very least, we outspeed Houndoom and can hit it with Rock Slide, which he's not going to appreciate by any means. So even if the Lancet Berry doesn't activate, it should still be useful having the Endeavour combination. I think this should work quite nicely in Sceptile this week. And then honestly, one of the biggest clue pieces to finish off the team is Steelix. So we're running Heavy Slam, Earthquake Protect, and Wide Guard with a Custap Berry. So Custap Berry, that is the berry that when you're less than 25% health, it will just activate and make you move first. Almost like a consumable Quick Claw in a way. So it's one-time use, so it's important that we use it at the right moment, but with the Sturdy that we've got, we'll hopefully be able to get the Custap off and maybe get a surprise attack off when Richi's not expecting it. And Heavy Slam and Earthquake do decent damage into most of the team, I'd say. Heavy Slam and Durable were definitely the two steel moves that I had to go back and forth on what would be best. On this side, the Heavy Slam was just more consistent overall. It's pretty much 120 base damage into most Mons on his team. Togekiss and Latios are very light. Toxicroak, Gallade, they all take big damage from it. I'd say the only one that doesn't take as much damage is Rhydon, but still I think it's an 80 base power Heavy Slam, and it's going to do more than Durable because we've got quite similar speed tiers anyway. So we're running min speed regardless of not having Durable, because I'm worried about Rhydon in potential Trick Room. Because if Trick Room does go up, I need to have at least some kind of Mon that underspeeds the Rhydon. So that's why we're going min speed on this one. And then we've got Wide Guard, because I think Richi has quite a few spread attacks that I'm concerned about, whether that be Dazzling Gleam on the Togekiss or Earthquakes and Rock Slide from that Rhydon. So that would be a good way to just prevent damage if I need to that way. So yeah, these are the 6 we're bringing. I really hope that we're able to pull this one off, but I must admit this has been a tough one. I went back and forth on many different ideas this week, and yeah, coming to the 6 as the conclusion was difficult. And I'm really excited to see how the match goes. So yeah, I really hope you will join me all for that. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Good luck, have fun to Richi, and I will see you in the week 6 battle. Take care.